keeps freezing at 99%. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it.
Alright everybody, this is Zach Jess with Jess Teching Up, and what I got for you is a PS3 error fix for error code number 8002F14 Echo, and that's related to the Blu-ray drive connection, signal connection I suppose, back to the motherboard. And well, I'm assuming it's the motherboard. I actually don't have too much on the hardware on the PS3, but what happened here is that I went to spare out the PS3 with some compressed air because it was just incredibly loud, and it had been going on for some time, actually quite a long time. The PS3 is about 4 years old now, something like that, 4 or 5. Got it more or less when it first came out, and yeah. So of course I went to spray it out. Had to pop off the power supply and Blu-ray drive just to get the best surface area and spraying all the little spots here and there. So I did that, and I apparently accidentally broke up a little clip which held the ribbon in place on the Blu-ray drive, and that is why this is happening. It sure makes the system a whole lot quieter after I spray it out though. Here's the error code up on the screen right here. Can't say much for performance. I don't really, in fact I don't use the PS3 at all. So this particular PS3 model, this is the Blu-ray drive right here. I'll unconnect this here first. But the ribbon goes underneath the power supply. That's this black thing right here. So I gotta take that off. I gotta take these little screws out down here that are holding in place, and just a couple wires from over here. I don't even know if I was pointing the camera in the right spot, but these two wires here, and a couple screws there, one there, and a couple on the side here, and then I'm home free. So here I've already taken out the power supply, or taken off, rather, and this is what I'm looking at. Before I had taken the little clip piece. There's a little black clip that's supposed to fit right in there, and that thing is so freaking flimsy it just snapped off. And I used tape, and I guess that's not securing so well. Specifically on this side, the top side is actually pretty snug. You probably can't tell because of how this is focused. But I'm gonna see what I can do about fixing that. So what I did here is, it's hard to see because of the type of tape it is, but the Scotch tape. But I have a vertical part going across here, and that was the initial piece I put in to hold it in place, and I have another piece right here, kind of almost pulling this cable to the left. I figured that would be about the best I can do without taking out this whole plate here, and then you get a more secure connection that way. Okay, so because I'm just testing this out, I didn't put anything on it. I just connected everything back together. All the wires and crap's all connected back in. I'm trying to find the damn switch. There we go. So now we wait. And the screen might look a little bit blurry. It actually doesn't look that blurry. I look on my screen around the camera, but because it's different output,
my monitor here puts out a different output from the TV I have downstairs, which is what this is typically connected to. Looks a little bit blurry, but I'm gonna just cancel this out and show it what happens, how it oh, fuck. Failed. Alright, what I've done here is I've created a spacer which is going to push down on this, and that's going to push the ribbon down into, I believe, the contact points where I'm assuming it was missing them. And if this doesn't do it, then you know what? I don't know. Here we go. Dude, it is finished. What happened is that I got to about like 50%, or I wasn't paying too much attention, but I got to like 50-55%, and then boom, it just went to 100, and I guess it's restarting right now, and I don't have a controller with me, so I'll grab one. So I got myself a controller. Oh shit, I think I pushed the wrong button. Never mind. You know what? I think it's working. So, you know what? Good game. So I just got all my screws, put it back into the power supply. I got one right here, a couple on the sides over here, and then 2 in the back here. And I just confirmed it's all working still. So I'm gonna put the top casing on it, plug it back in, test it out, and see if it's working. Still, I don't expect there to be any issues because power supply is the main thing that would cause that basically, because that's what's putting pressure on that spacer piece I created, and so yeah, that's really the only variable. Hell yeah. Cause that was gay. But it's still working. It's all about the spacer, bro.
No wheelchair. Okay. Okay, we're sitting on.
Alright, this is the demo that we were supposed to give at the Congress. As you may recall, we gave a demo and video was not working. And the reason why it wasn't working is because this Slim is very new. I bought it about a month ago. And we used 3.15 for the demo. We flashed 3.15 onto it. It turns out that firmware version is too old to support the RSX revision in this Slim. It actually came with 3.40 in the factory. So that's why everything looked like it was going to work, and then video totally broke and screwed up. So I've done the whole thing with 3.41. I'm going to show you that. But before that, one thing I didn't have a chance to show at the Congress is that the drive on the Slim is actually formatted using a standard DOS partition table and Linux file system. There's no custom PS3 stuff going on. So if you plug it into a computer, it actually shows up as regular partitions. So, this one here is the boot partition, with the kernel and a configuration file, and that's just useless because asbestos is actually flashed. This asbestos itself is just a test thing I have. So it's the kernel and the configuration settings, and then this is the root file system for Linux. So you can just edit your Linux install from the PC or whatever, and you can use the whole drive. You don't have to dedicate anything to GameOS. So let's plug that into the Slim. And the Slim, as you can see, doesn't have anything plugged into the front. The only things plugged into the back are Ethernet, power, and HDMI. And of course on the side, there's my NOR flasher port that's not plugged into anything. But because of course we already flashed Asbestos onto this PS3, so it's just standalone. We could install Asbestos from an update file, but for now we're working with the flasher, which is a little bit easier. So let's turn it on. And in the computer here, I have my Asbestos terminal. Loads the kernel. It takes a few seconds to get video. And there we go. That's Gen 2 Linux, booting standalone on a PS3 Slim. Just threw us flashed Asbestos instead of GameOS. It's running Asbestos. Loads the kernel from the hard drive, and as you can see, it's actually accessing the hard drive. So it's not using net booting or anything. It's actually not touching the network. It's all self-contained. And if it finishes booting, I can actually grab a USB keyboard, plug it right into the PS3, the right way around, and just log right in. So yeah, that's about it. Right now, we have some issues with Make Self. This is done using a terrible hack that's not Make Self. So once we fix Make Self, we will be able to do it a little bit more sanely. Then we'll work on making this an update file that you can just flash. And at that point, you would only have Linux. You would lose your GameOS. And once we have that working, we'll work on a dual boot version where you can boot GameOS from Asbestos or Linux with some kind of boot menu at the beginning. And once that works, we'll release it all and let someone else take over, because as we said, we're not planning on doing long-term PS3 development. So we're basically developing all of this so that, you know, to get it out there and so anyone else can pick it up and do whatever they want with it. So, see you next time.